And now for something completely different. So this week, for the 20th issue of my comic book movie review series, I thought I'd try something a little bit different. A different type of content. Instead of giving you just a straight up review like I usually do, I thought I would go a little bit deeper. More like balls deep. So if you're used to those shorter videos I usually put out, guess what? This isn't going to be one of them. This week I'm looking at the strange little sequel to Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, brought to us by David Flesher, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Grace Jones, and Olivia d'Abo. This one's different from its forebear, that's for damn sure. It's a bit more fantasy oriented this time around, and instead of that awesome R rating that we got with the first one, this one's rated PG. But I'm sure that had absolutely no negative effect on the film at all. So join me for a while as we watch Conan lead a ragtag group of adventurers on a quest for a princess in Conan the Destroyer. We open to a desert wasteland, aka Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. If this looks familiar to you, that might be because that same year, 1984, not only did they film this, but being filmed at the exact same time at some of the same locations was Dune, 1984. And I'm sure that's a good omen. So we have these mysterious riders crossing the desert with this tremendous music, but my question is, what is this guy doing? Why is he just like whipping a stagecoach? He's on the back of it. He's nowhere near a horse. He's just like whipping at it. I have no idea why this is even here. What the fuck he's even whipping. The only thing I could think is that they included this just so they could have that whipping sound. You know the one. A few minutes into this thing, we finally meet that burly beefcake of a man, Conan, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger. And our mysterious riders seem to be up to no good. And as soon as they show up, Conan knows it because he is poised for action. And that's what we get. But this is PG action, but not the PG action you're used to. Supposedly they toned down the violence here in this movie, but you know, at times I can't see it. Like, holy shit, look at that. How the hell is that PG rated? I know that the PG-13 rating didn't come along until July 1st of that year, but still, god damn, how is this not rated R? There's fucking blood everywhere. It's not as gratuitously violent as the first one for sure, but it's not far from it. I mentioned a while back that Sheena was probably the most R-rated PG movie I'd ever seen. I take that back. This is. Overall, this battle's pretty good. I've seen worse, but one thing of note here would be that each of these swords apparently cost $10,000. What the fuck? $10,000? Okay, I get it. Conan's sword, that's pretty badass looking. It looks like they put a lot of work into that. I mean, 10 grand still seems like a lot, especially in 1984. But all right, if you said that one was 10 grand, I could buy that. But all these other ones, look at these other guys' swords. Did they really cost 10 grand? If every fucking sword in this movie cost 10 grand, what was the budget here? All budgets aside, as Conan's kicking everybody's ass, we've also got his humble sidekick, Malik. He would be the comic relief of the movie, and, well, yeah, he's not really that good of a comic relief. He does, however, every now and then prove his worth, like right here, where he jumps up and stabs this guy. One thing of note with this particular shot, though, is that this guy is apparently just waiting around for Malik to jump on the back and stab the shit out of him. I don't feel like this mysterious horseman is doing a very good job here. Who is still doing a good job, though, is Conan, kicking everybody's ass, including this fucking horse. Look, he punched the shit out of this horse and knocked it the fuck out. Hell yeah, Conan. This is what I signed up for. So after all the asses have been kicked and this horse has been knocked the fuck out, our mysterious leader reveals herself. And it's Ursa from Superman 2. Actually, it's Queen Taramis, played by Sarah Douglas, which many of you will know as Ursa from Superman 2. However, me myself, that's not who I know her as. Oh no, I know her as Chandri from that 80s badass classic Solar Babies. Y'all remember that one, right? Or am I the only one? And she's joined by her faithful right-hand man, Bambata, played by Wilt Chamberlain, who here looks more like Sho'nuff from The Last Dragon. Apparently, the production had a really hard time finding a horse that was big enough for Chamberlain to ride, that his feet wouldn't touch the ground. That is how tall this guy was. They ended up having to import one from Spain that this guy could actually fit. What the fuck? They had to find a specialized horse for you to fit. Me, myself, personally, I would have liked it if they would have just put him on a regular-sized horse, and the whole time we would have just seen his feet kind of like paddling as he goes along, tapping on the ground. Kind of like a Flintstone horse or something. But they chose against that and just imported a horse from Spain, so, you know, missed opportunity. Chandri approaches Conan and says that she has a job for him. He says, no bitch, I'm not interested. But she says, show me your heart's desire. What is it you want? I can give you whatever you need. And as Conan gazes at the altar that he was praying at, flames erupt from it and he sees his heart's desire. A fine ass honey.
Valeria.
Did he say malaria? Promising Conan that she will bring his long-lost love back to life, he agrees to go on this journey for her.
Tell me what I must do.
So they all get together and head off to her place to get a game plan together for this journey. As a side note, director Richard Fletcher's biggest complaint about Conan the Barbarian apparently was that Arnold Schwarzenegger's body remained too clothed. And he said of his film that he made sure that Arnold was undressed for 99% of the film. What? I mean, seriously? That's what you had to say about the first movie, and that's the difference between your movie and his? It's okay, Arnold, tell us. Did they touch you? You can talk to us. So all rapey vibes from the director aside, we arrive at the Queen's castle, and as they're going through the courtyard, and everybody's just yelling, Conan, Conan, and the Queen, and all this, and they're all excited, Conan comes across an old friend. That's right, it's the camel from the first movie that he knocked the fuck out, and as he extends his hand of friendship and tries to apologize to this camel for their last meeting, apparently, I'm not really sure, I think it's supposed to be spitting, but it really looks like this camel just busts a nut all over fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't believe I said that. This does not set well with Conan, so what does he do? He donkey punches that hoe, that's what he does. So as our main characters just ride their horses right into the fucking throne room of this place, I mean, I guess that's normal, we are introduced to Budget Christopher Lee, and then he's gone. And we're given the whole reason that the Queen wants Conan to go on this journey. He is meant to take Princess Jenna on a quest to get a jewel so that she can use it as a key to get a mystical horn that goes on this statue of this guy who looks like a statue of Jeff Goldblum laying in that bed from Jurassic Park. We're told that Jenna is the only person that can touch this stone without burning herself alive. So yeah, they kind of need her for this journey. We also find out, without Conan knowing, that the Queen plans on sacrificing Jenna when she gets back so that they can bring this god Jeff Goldblum statue back to life. And that she wants Bambata to take Conan and his crew out as soon as she has the crystal. Of the few scenes that they actually deleted to get that PG rating that I have no fucking clue how they got, honestly, but they got it. One of the things that they deleted takes place right here. As the Queen is talking to Conan, she apparently seduced him in the original cut of the film, and they had a sex scene. So sex scene bad, but gratuitous violence okay. We're first introduced to Jenna when she wakes up yelling and screaming from asleep, having a really bad dream about this god and this journey she's about to go on. And honestly, this is probably not the first time a young woman has woken up screaming with Wilt Chamberlain next to her, trying to get her to calm down and telling her to shut the fuck up. The ironic part about this whole thing is that in real life, Wilt Chamberlain had claimed to have slept with over 20,000 women, and the Queen tasks him with looking after Jenna and making sure that she retains her virginity on this journey. Probably not the best guy for the job, Chandri, though we are talking about a woman who plans on sacrificially murdering her niece when she comes back from this journey, so probably not the best parenting skills all around. And so our heroes embark on their journey, and as a contingency plan, the Queen sends out her elite guard to follow them just in case Bambata can't protect the young princess from Conan's barbarian man-meat. But our heroes have to take a detour before going on the journey. They're going to fight magic, so they need magic to fight said magic. So they go to enlist the talents of their old wizard friend, Akiro, played by Mako. Yeah, his name in real life is Mako. He's kind of like Prince or Madonna, but he doesn't sing, I don't think. Thankfully, our heroes arrive just in the nick of time as Akiro is being Han Solo'd by the natives from Skull Island. And after easily dispatching the threat, we are treated to this Oscar-worthy dialogue.
I need you. I'm yours.
Now, as our journey continues, we are randomly treated to these transitional shots of the Nazgul traveling across the wasteland. I guess just in case we forgot that the Queen's elite guard is out there following our heroes. Now that they're back on track, we arrive at a village, and this is where we are introduced to crazy-ass Grace Jones. This was model musician Grace Jones's first acting role, so to celebrate, she threw a party, and at this party, she served steak tartare, which for those of you that don't know, is raw ground beef. She said that her character Zula was purely primal in Conan, so she felt as if they should eat raw meat. Alright, sure. Method acting. Daniel Day-Lewis, eat your fucking heart out. Our heroes find Zula tied up to a post in the middle of a village as the villagers torment her. And apparently Conan is attracted to her epic raccoon tail hanging off of her backside, so he decides to release her so that she can defend herself. And then she proceeds to beat the shit out of the entire village of extremely jumpy men. Later on down the road, Zula approaches our band of merry men and women and says that she wants to join. She wants to do whatever it is that Conan wants. She wants to follow her savior. But Bambata doesn't trust her, and he tells her to go away. And she's like, nah, bitch, I ain't going nowhere. You and me, we finna duel. Chamberlain and Jones both did the vast majority of their stunts in this film. And the part where you see Zula jump onto Bambata and bite him in the ear, well, that wasn't a stunt. Grace Jones actually bit this motherfucker in his ear. All that blood running down from his ear, that was real. And that shocked expression on Chamberlain's face, that was real too, because he was like, what the fuck? This bitch just fucking bit me. Apparently, throughout the shoot of this film, Chamberlain and Jones did not get along on set. He kept having to tell her to turn down her boombox, which I'm not really sure if that was a metaphor or if like she really had a boombox just standing out there all better off dead and just playing lots of loud music, or if boombox is a stand-in word for something else. I don't know. Either way, they didn't mesh, and apparently Jones was not one of the 20,000 women that Chamberlain bedded. Now, after seeing Zula go all Mike Tyson on Bombada's ass, Conan decides, you know what? I want you in my crew. You're cool. Come on along. And our merry band head on to the castle to get this mysterious jewel. Upon arriving at the shore of the castle, they decide, hey, let's sleep here for the night, and we'll go across all this freezing cold-ass water tomorrow. At this point, we are introduced to the wizard that lives within this castle, who is apparently Merlin from Excalibur. In the night, Merlin turns into a poltergeist bird and goes and snatches up Jenna and takes her back to the castle as his captive. Our heroes wake up and they're like, what the fuck? Where's the princess? And they ask their wizard, Akira, where's she gone? And he does like his little mumbo jumbo thing and he says, there, which is kind of obvious because that's like the only fucking place in the area that she would be. Good thing they got this wizard though to let them know that. So they head into danger in the castle, and when they get there, they find out, oh shit, he's deadbolted the door. It's all right though, because we've got our trusty wizard and he does his thing again and says, there's an entrance here under this water underneath the glacier and we can get in that way. So they all jump into this freezing cold fucking water with no clothes on and swim to the other side and gain entrance to the castle. After exiting this freezing cold ass water and seeing Grace Jones do like a little twinkle twinkle shake so that her raccoon tail can shake off all the water, sound effect and all by the way, as they make their way up the longest staircase in fucking existence, we see that Conan truly is a bad motherfucker, because he is in a freezing cold ice castle, soaking fucking wet with absolutely no fucking clothes on, and he don't give a fuck. This wizard should have known what was coming, because them nipples right there can cut fucking glass at this point. To create the illusion of cold in these scenes, the production put dry ice in the mouths of the actors, and while they talked, we see smoke coming out. You would think that that would look pretty cool, but in practice, what it looks like is that they're all just like vaping and then talking. I know vaping wasn't even in existence back then, but that's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look like they're cold. It looks like they're like taking a hit off a cigarette or something and then talking. It's kind of weird looking, but I guess it produced somewhat of the result they were looking for. Conan gets separated from his friends and is in a chamber with the wizard, and this wizard apparently has this whole mirror thing going around. There's mirrors all around it, and there's a whole bunch of this wizard. We don't know which one's him, but then he finally reveals himself and we see his true form, and he's an ugly ass gorilla monster with an extremely expressive tongue. So Conan and Gorilla Wizard throw down, but this fight becomes more of a WWF match instead. Like they're doing wrestling moves all over the place, and at one point the monster even grabs Conan by his feet and like twirls him around the room. This shit looks like it came straight out of Monday Night Raw. After all that ridiculousness, Conan finds that if he breaks the mirrors, it harms the beast. So then we get shots of Conan running around the room breaking mirrors like a kid with ADHD hyped up on Mountain Dew. When only 2 mirrors are left, Conan is left with a choice. Behind one mirror will be the evil wizard that he needs to take out. Behind the other mirror is his friends. Which one will he throw his sword through and take out whatever's behind it? Why he has to throw his sword through this mirror and he can't just walk up to it like all the other ones and just break both of them? I'll never know, but for whatever reason, he decides at this point, I can't walk over to those mirrors, I have to throw my sword through one. So as he's about to throw it through the mirror that has his friends behind it, and they're yelling and screaming, no, not here, not us, instead of, you know, just backing away and walking away from the mirror, so if he did throw it, it just would kind of go by him, or whatever. Conan pulls a switcheroo fake out and throws it to the other mirror, impaling the evil wizard. At this point, the wizard becomes Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat 2 and finally dies. They get the princess, they get the rock, and they get the fuck out of there because this house is coming the fuck down. They narrowly escape all the falling foam blocks and make it back to their boat and travel back out to land. And as they look back at the ice castle as it crumbles, Mako has this nugget of wisdom.
All an illusion.
Which, considering this entire shot right here, is kind of ironic. Once back to land, since the princess now has the jewel, it's time for that elite guard to show up and try and take Conan out. They snatch up the princess and she yells for Bombada and he just looks on like, nah, you good. But Conan is here to save the day, and he engages in Mortal Kombat with the elite guard. And this battle is full of all kinds of amazing choreography. $10,000 swords clanking, blood spurts galore, epic rolls, and strike a pose. After defeating the elite guard and Conan apparently buying Bambata's bullshit reason as to why they were there, the crew decide to set up camp for the night. And in this campsite scene, suddenly the movie becomes a slapstick comedy. Malik tries to put the smooth moves on Zula before she threatens to kill him. Admittedly, that was a slick move though. Jenna, who is now apparently smitten with Conan, decides to help tend to his wounds and gives us BAFTA award-winning lines like this.
I suppose nothing hurts you.
Only pain.
Yeah, somebody wrote that. And Conan is so shit-faced that he knocks himself out by walking into a solid wall, aka Wilt Chamberlain. The next day, as they continue their journey on, Jenna seeks relationship advice from some of her comrades.
Grab him and take him.
I mean, I can't really disagree with that. It's pretty good advice. And we get the birds and the bees, according to Malik.
He has to take his, and grab her by the, there you are, join. I mean, how do you think flowers grow?
What? I was with you until that last part. What the fuck did that have to do with anything? Our heroes arrive at the secret chamber that the horn is housed in, and it is conveniently already lit with torches. As Akira reads the glyphs on the wall, our heroes find out that, oh no, they plan on sacrificing the princess when she gets back. But Conan just don't give a shit. He's like, you know what? I'm finna get my fine ass honey back. We'll see about this whole sacrifice thing. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Yes, I said burn because Conan don't cross bridges. He burns them motherfuckers down. Malik starts eating random jewels like he's Mouth from the Goonies, and Jenna crosses over the composited fire to get to the mystical horn. As our heroes go to leave the chamber, BCL, aka Budget Christopher Lee, shows back up and says, hey bitches, where you going? And of course, an epic brawl ensues. Conan instructs everyone to get back and get to the chopper as we witness many armpit stabbings. No armpits were harmed in the making of this film. After narrowly making it into a big ass door, BCL shows up and does jazz hands to open the door with his wizardry magic. But they ain't the only one with a wizard. We got a wizard too. And what does that mean? That means we get epic wizard battle. Well, that's what it's set up as, at least, and then it happens and it's like, you know, 10 seconds and it's not really that big a deal. Bambata and Jenna get separated from everyone else and make their way out of the chamber. On their way out, her clothes suddenly get stuck on the sticky rocks. You know, I hate them sticky rocks. I don't really know why this happened. You would think that it's so that it would clue our heroes in as to what direction they went, but it never really comes up again, so I don't even know why this was there. Why her cape thing had to get caught on the sticky rocks. I don't know, but it happens. And it is at this point that Bambata finally betrays our heroes and smashes the wall to make all the treacherous foam rocks come down and block their way out. But they won't be stopped because Conan and friends traverse the treacherous foam blocks to make it to safety. Upon realizing they have been betrayed by Bambata and what his intentions are, they decide to ride off to the castle and save the damsel in distress. And when they get there, they see that guards are awaiting them.
Reserved to guard the palace.
There must be hundreds of them around it.
There's 5. Like 5. Just right there, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys have laid waste to tons of people throughout this movie, but these 5 guards, they're gonna keep you out. Okay, but it's all right because Malik knows a secret way into the castle.
Behind the waterfall, there's an entrance. Used to be an exit. My cousin's sister's brother dug his way out there.
You mean your other cousin? As they climb down the mountain, a random boulder comes and just smashes the shit out of Malik, but apparently he's okay. But I'm telling you, look at that shit. He's fucking dead. But hey, I guess it was just a flesh wound because he just shakes that shit off and keeps on going. Through the power of Beefcake, they are able to bend the bars and gain access to the tunnels that lead to the castle. And once they gain entrance, they are faced with these guards. And let me just say, these are like the worst fucking guards ever. They suck at their job. They deserve to fucking die. And die they do. But our hero's path will not be that easy because now Bambata is in their way. And now we get what we've been waiting for the entire movie. An epic Conan versus Bambata throwdown. Bambata busts up in this bitch with a motherfucking axe just to throw it down to show how much of a badass he is. Does make you wonder though why he even brought it to begin with. Does he just kind of like walk around this castle all the time with like an axe in one hand and that spiky mace thing he's got in the other? Just in case he runs up on some people so he could take the big fucking axe that would really help him in that battle and throw it down just to say, yeah, that's right, bitch. I'm a bad motherfucker. Seems legit. Now, all the while that this is going on, the ceremony to bring Daragoth, the Jeff Goldblum statue, back to life, and they're about to sacrifice Jenna, which I might add, she looks like a very willing participant in this entire thing. We get to hear reused music from the first film with the orgy attack scene, so that's pretty cool. And is that Justin Wang? No shit, that's like the third movie I've seen this year with someone who looked just like Justin Wang. I think he may be like one of those time traveling people that you always see those videos about and they see him in pictures and stuff, and he's just been in a bunch of fucking movies and we don't know about it. But now we do. We're on to you, Wang. BCL gets shish kebabbed by Grace Jones and it's un-PG even by 1984 standards. And Queen Chandri suddenly decides to dress the part and looks like she's fucking Charlize Theron from The Huntsman. After a feverish fight, Conan finally takes out Shonuff and he pauses for a moment afterwards, leading us to believe that we're gonna get one of his classic one-liners, but we don't. Once again, a missed opportunity in my opinion. They should have gone with something like, "Kiss my Converse, you son of a bitch." Conan stage dives into the fray just like the 1980s metal badass that he is to find Daggeroth's true form. A giant, herpes-infested, roast beef vagina-mouthed monster. Played by Andre the Giant, by the way. Dargoth the vagina monster orgasms Chandri to death. So that's good. And Conan and friends fight Pussy Monster in the bloodiest PG fight ever put to film. Shit gets real crazy. Apparently Zeus even gets involved because lightning just starts randomly blowing the shit out of everything in this fucking room. Akira just decides to chime in on the male human condition mid-fight.
His horn is his life! Tear out the horn!
Thanks for that tidbit of wisdom, buddy. And after an intense hugging match, Conan violently and gruesomely rips Daggeroth's horn from his head. How in the hell did this get a PG rating? What in the hell did they cut? How bad was it? Now that the kingdom and the princess are safe, Conan, his codpiece, and his friends show up to the obligatory 80s movie victory ceremony that every movie like this has had since Star Wars. Everybody gets a job. You get a job, you get a job, you get a job. But Conan says, "Nah, Princess Sparkles, I got shit to do," and heads off for another adventure. You don't give Conan a kingdom, he takes that shit. So this movie was a pretty good time. It's very different from the original, but there is fun to be had here. Now, when compared to the awesomeness of the original, it doesn't quite stack up. But if you enjoy Conan the Barbarian and you know what you're getting into with this one, I think there is some fun to be had here. It kind of sucks that they toned down the violence and went for that PG rating, but at the same time, with as violent and gruesome as this movie is, I don't really know how different it would have been had they just gone for an R rating. I mean, if this is PG, Jesus Christ, what the fuck would R be? Ironically, Arnold Schwarzenegger's commitment to this movie ended up delaying the filming of the next movie he was supposed to be in, a little-known movie called Terminator. But due to that delay, it allowed a little-known filmmaker at the time, James Cameron, more time to develop that story. It also allowed him time to write the script for another movie he was going to do years down the line, Aliens. So ultimately, being in this movie allowed Terminator and Aliens to be as great as they were. Without Conan the Destroyer, those movies may not have gotten made, and if they had been made, they may not have been as good as they were. Being in this movie may have actually been the catalyst for projecting Schwarzenegger and Cameron into the stratosphere like they are now. What would Terminator have been if Cameron didn't have that extra time to work on the script? Probably, as Schwarzenegger described it to someone on the set of Conan the Destroyer, just some little dumb sci-fi flick. But thankfully, this movie ended up giving them an opportunity to make those great movies down the line and become the stars and director that we know now. At the end of the day, Conan the Destroyer isn't nearly as good as Conan the Barbarian, but it is still a good time. And if you've got the time and it shows up on a streaming service of your choice, then it is absolutely worth checking out on streaming.
Across the street.
Is this movie perfect? Fuck no, it's got loads of issues. But if you fancy yourself a good old-fashioned 80s fantasy flick, then you could do a lot worse than Conan the Destroyer. So there it is, guys, my balls-deep review of Conan the Destroyer. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits to go along with that, like these guys, and possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Greg C. and Dragon Khan. I've hit this microphone like 20 times now. I'm not used to it being here. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Samaria. So depending on how this whole format works out, I will probably be doing all of my older movies, aka my comic book movie reviews, in this format moving forward. I won't be doing all my movies this way. Newer movies, they're still gonna be the old way, that shorter form. I ain't got the time to do this shit for all my movies. I've been recording for like fucking ever. I am not looking forward to editing this shit. So let me know in the comments below if you like this new format, if you enjoyed this longer form content, if you're like, dude, shut the fuck up, you're talking too much and this is way too long, just go back to the old way, or better yet, delete your fucking channel and get the hell off the platform. I mean, you don't have to say the last part, but if you like this format, then let me know. Either way, short or long, next week you can look forward to Red Sonja. And oh yeah, I remember enough about this movie to know I'm Really looking forward to it. About as much as you look forward to a prostate exam. I mean, some people do look forward to those, I guess, but you know what I mean.